Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. Chelsea versus Arsenal is a massive game in any calendar, but I'm going to say it now. I've said it already against Man United last week, but officially, with the way that Chelsea and Arsenal are bottlenecked in 4th and 5th position right now in the Premier League, this is officially the biggest game of our season. If you lose this, we drop out of the top 4. Arsenal can kind of start building momentum again to get back in a title race. If Chelsea win this, then mathematically, we're in some kind of race. We're still in the top 4. And I think that either side here, a loss for Chelsea, and I think that any ideas of potentially winning a league are over. Not that there is any, real, genuine dream right now. But I mean, there's a dream. But, do I think we're going to win the league? No. For Arsenal, they thought they were going to win the league. If they lose this, then I think it's absolutely over for them. So the onus is on both sides here to put themselves in the best position they can be to go as far as possible in this Premier League season. Before we do get into anything, make sure you're subscribed to GBFC. I'll be doing a watch-along tomorrow night, and 6 things we learned from Chelsea-Arsenal is always a banger, regardless of the results. So stay tuned for that one. As well as that, if you want to listen to this week's podcast, it's up on the channel. Or if you want to listen on Spotify, we're growing quite nicely on there. And if you could give us a review, that will help it spread the word to the further realms of the Spotify podcast network. And as well as that, if you want to buy yourself anything for Christmas, for your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever it may be, then I've got a 10% discount code for you at the Chelsea Megastore. Just use the QR code that is on the screen here and use the discount code GBFC10 for 10% off. Chelsea and Arsenal, right now, we are absolutely neck and neck. I think for Arsenal, you're disappointed with that. For Chelsea, I think you're very happy. We're 4th in the Premier League. New managers come in. We've not seemingly yet had this, shaky period. We've had some tough games. We lost to Liverpool, beat Newcastle, drew with Man United. And with one of each, we've basically now got, in my opinion, the biggest one of them all. It's Arsenal. It's a London derby. And if we win this game, I genuinely feel as though going into an international break with some of the fixtures that Chelsea have got in December, I really think that this could be a win that could somehow put us in a position, if we can beat the lower teams and get a result away at Spurs, there's no reason why Chelsea shouldn't be striving to be in a title race. I'm not saying we're going to win it, but we should be looking to at least be involved in some kind of conversation for as long as bloody possible. So, first things first, we're going to build a team here today, of course. That's not going to be the first thing. We're going to give score predictions. We're going to do all of that. But I want to talk, first of all, about 2 things. And again, a lot of people on the internet, they will apologise for getting something wrong. And then they'll try and avoid it at all costs to make sure that they either don't trip themselves up again or they don't want to remind themselves of such a terrible call. And I want to talk about Caicedo and Declan Rice because the narrative that's been built around this fixture, Chelsea versus Arsenal, a lot of the conversation was about the price of both Caicedo, Declan Rice. Chelsea bought Caicedo for 115 million. Arsenal bought Declan Rice for 105. Chelsea seemingly wanted Declan Rice. I think Lampard really wanted Rice as well. But we got Caicedo. And I made a horrible claim last year that I will keep reminding you that I did it because I'm more than happy to admit when I'm wrong. But I said that Rice was probably a better leader, might even be a better player than Caicedo. I was wrong. Chelsea right now, in my opinion, not even just my opinion, but statistically, we've got the best midfielder in the Premier League. Moises Caicedo, as much as Cole Palmer is Chelsea's best player because he scores the most goals and gets the most assists, Moises Caicedo is an absolute pivotal member of this Chelsea side. Without him, I'm concerned. We've got him. He's fit. There's nothing to worry about there. Touch wood, he doesn't get sick on the day of the game. But overall, I think Chelsea here have got the better midfielder. And I think when we talk about the Chelsea side that I'm going to build, I want to just come up with an idea here. Because I'm going to go with a 4-2-3-1 for my formation, right? And I've got players that you might not agree with, but it's based on combating certain Arsenal things that we're going to see in this game, particularly Bukayo Saka. But is there a world where, if Chelsea want to get Enzo Fernandez back in this side, is there a world where we can move to a 4-3-3 formation that could look something like this up on the screen now, where Enzo Fernandez can kind of play as a lone 6, and then Moises Caicedo can step up into that right-sided 8 role and do something that we've seen N'Golo Kante do on multiple occasions for Chelsea, particularly against the big teams, when he's able to kind of press up, put pressure on Arsenal as they're trying to build from the back. Could Caicedo have the freedom to do that a little bit more? With Enzo being there as a 6, Romeo Lavia can then also be involved in those kind of positional play. But I also think the reason here that I'm discussing this is because quite often this season, we've seen Malo Gusto at right back, inverting, coming forward, and Gusto is being that aggressive presser. And I was talking to Harry about this on the phone. Harry is also on the 3 More Points podcast. And he was saying to me, why can't we just have midfielders doing that? And a 4-3-3 would enable us to do that. And I'm only even suggesting this today because there is a big question mark about Cole Palmer. There's a video on Instagram right now where he's got his leg wrapped in one of those, I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's something for the muscles with oxygen and shit. But like he's got his leg there. And obviously after that tackle from Martinez last weekend, Maresca also said in the presser yesterday that he's obviously walking now. There is a story going around about him going in for some lemon tart or lemon cake or something and custard in the game at Noah. Fantastic stuff. Him and Levi Colwill going for a little snack with the journos. But is Colwill going to be fit enough and ready for this? And if he isn't, does that mean that we revert to a 4-3-3, get Enzo Fernandez back in the team? That isn't what I'm building. That is just another option alternatively if Cole Palmer's not available. But will Palmer be available? This is the big game. This is your rivals, your local rivals, the challenge for the top 4 rivals, the could we win the league rivals. This match is absolutely massive for Chelsea. So you want your best players to be fit. You want them to be ready. Arsenal are obviously coming into this game in the worst possible form. The way that they've been this season, I've watched them all season long. I've tried to watch a lot more football this year, which is probably why I'm struggling to sleep so much because I'm trying to watch as much football as possible. And I don't ever really feel that impressed by Arsenal. At the start of the season, there was all of these conversations about, oh, Arsenal might break Chelsea. No one's breaking Chelsea's defensive record. Get your head out of your arses, all right? It's ridiculous to ever even consider that someone's going to break that record, let alone bloody Arsenal, whose season capitulated before we're even a quarter of the way through. But I think the truth here is that the season hasn't capitulated. I certainly think that a win for either one of these teams today absolutely puts them in a conversation. For Arsenal, it seems like more of a capitulation because they expected to be bottlenecking, neck and neck with Liverpool, neck and neck with Man City, not neck and neck in 5th place with Chelsea, chasing the top 4. So I think we're going to have our work cut out. I think Arteta's made some comments this week, which, look, we're going to talk about that. He said that if they play the way that they did in Inter Milan, who, by the way, Inter Milan fielded their B team. They rested players because they've got Antonio Conte's Napoli at the weekend. That shows the level that they see Arsenal at the moment. And Arteta said that they will beat Chelsea if they play the way that they did in the San Siro. And I'll tell you now, if they play like they did in the San Siro, they're not even beating flipping Bournemouth. Bournemouth are a really good side. That was a bad example. They might not beat Southampton. There you go. But Chelsea, on the other hand, I think we're going to be up for this. I think Stamford Bridge is going to be absolutely rocking. We were beaten 5-0 in this, not in this fixture, but in the away game. The last time we played Arsenal, they battered us 5-0. It was humiliating. It was the game where I genuinely thought Pochettino could have gone that night. I wouldn't have been bothered. We turned it around after that, but I always want to beat Arsenal. I always want to get one over them, and I genuinely think if we win this, their season, for what they aspired, what they thought it was going to be, is over. So, without any further ado, we build my Chelsea team. Robert Sanchez is in goal. Congratulations to Sanchez. He won the save of the month for the month of October for the save that he made against Nottingham Forest very late on in that game. You guys know what I've got to say about this man. I'm going to beg you again. I'm going to ask you again. This is massive, all right? Please do not make mistakes. Chelsea will play in blue. Arsenal will play in red. You give it to the guys in blue when you're passing and building from the back. Please, Mr. Robert Sanchez. Moving into the back 4. This is a fascinating team to build because we don't know about Palmer yet. We'll see that as we go through it. But Malo Gusto's obviously playing a lot. Cucurella didn't play either on Thursday. You've got Bukayo Saka on the right wing for Arsenal, who this season, if Arsenal do anything good, it goes through Bukayo Saka. There's also Kai Havertz to worry about. as well because he's got that height and he's good in the air, whatever. And he's coming to Chelsea and he'll absolutely want to get one over us. But I'm only really worried about Saka right now. And the question is, do we leave Reece James at left back, keep Malo Gusto at right back so that we can just make Reece James defend, let Gusto step up and invert because that's what Maresca likes to do? Is it Reece James at left back so that he can just deal with Bukayo Saka? I'm saying no. And as we go through this team, I'm going to explain the role of Reece James at right back, James, Fofana, Colwill, Cucurella at left back. I don't think it can't be Malo Gusto. I think Cucurella, you've got that natural left-sided player there. And I think as much as Malo Gusto as a one-on-one defender, maybe he's a better defender than Marc Cucurella. I want Reece James on that right midfield, the right back, in this match. And I think it needs to be Cucurella at left back. Let me know your thoughts on that. But the midfield is a pivot of Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. I'm not changing it. Enzo was really good. Look, I gave him his flowers. I sung his praises. He was excellent in the half of football that we saw against Noah. A hat-trick of assists in 9 minutes is no mean feat, even against flipping Noah's Ark from the Armenian Premier League. But for this game for me, I am saying it's got to be Caicedo and Lavia. I think the partnership is growing. I think it's building. I think in order for Enzo Fernandez to come back into this team, it would require a formational shift, which I don't think we're going to see that for this match. I think we still need to have as many different attacking players out there as we possibly can, which is why I've built a 4-2-3-1. I do want to see Caicedo pressing up a little bit more, though. I think Lavia can kind of do that, holding, sitting in the middle role really well. And then we move into the front four. And this is where I want to discuss what happens here with the fullbacks in this game. And I've gone with something a little bit rogue. And let me know what you guys think about this. Because look, you could say Mudryk could start here because he's been playing really well. He's been scoring, getting assists, looking sharper, looking like he's playing with a bit more freedom. Scored against Arsenal in this fixture last season. I've not picked Mudryk. Noni Madueke started pretty much every game in the league this year. Really out of form right now, though. So I'm not picking Noni Madueke. So the team that I have gone with, and I can see a lot of you here are about to absolutely lose it because you might disagree with 3 of the 4 positions. Sancho right wing, Nkunku 10, Neto left wing, and Jackson up front. And before you lose it, all right, I'm going to explain everything. Jadon Sancho, yes, he prefers to play on the left, but he can also play on the right. We've seen him do it before. And on the right-hand side for Arsenal is where we're going to need defensive cover. Sancho can't do that very well. Neto can. So that's why Neto is on that left-hand side, because he can support Cucurella when it comes to dealing with Bukayo Saka. Nkunku is the 10 because I'm just really worried about Palmer. I'm not going to lie. It could be a decoy, putting his leg on Instagram and all of that stuff to make Arsenal think he's injured and he's not playing. That is a very, very likely thing. And obviously, if Cole Palmer is even 75%, I think he should play every single match because he is our best player. But I think also, with Nkunku, the man keeps on scoring. If Palmer isn't fully fit and he still doesn't get a sniff, I think he's starting to really throw his toys out the pram. Nkunku looks like a man right now that is biting his tongue, biding his time, but I think his time will come where he will blow if Palmer isn't fully fit and he still doesn't start a game like this. Jackson's obviously got to play. His record at the Bridge has been amazing. His goal-scoring record in the Premier League, fantastic. I think we're going to need him to do a lot of work in this game when it comes to dropping in a little bit, getting deeper. We also see Nkunku at his best when he's not the out-and-out striker, when he's feeding off another one. So, as well as that, Palmer off the bench. If Cole Palmer isn't fully fit and ready, Arsenal are going to know about it. They're going to be going in on him. And I think at this point in time, to see Palmer go out for any more than one game would be an absolute tragedy. He's so good. If he can come off the bench, then if Chelsea are losing the match, it's like, right, best player. If you're fit enough, go on there and get us back in it. If Chelsea are winning, you bring your best player on, the best player in the league. We can help see out the game. I genuinely think this could be one of those matches where Palmer doesn't start because there is that worry and that concern. Avoid him getting hurt even more in the early phases of the game and be forced into an early substitution because he wasn't quite ready. And in Nkunku, I think people have been trying to get him in the team all season. And this is the way I've figured it out for this one today. This is what I think the team's going to be. I don't think we're going to see the 4-3-3 that I mentioned earlier. I think this is one of those games where I can't really call it, but I've just got this weird feeling about Chelsea. I do. It's a good one. It's a good one going into this game. Arsenal have been out of form, yes. They're going to be so up for this. They know that their season can turn around with this game, or it can just go deeper into the ground in this match, from this match. But look, Mikel Arteta is a prat. I want to absolutely batter this bloke. I don't think we're going to batter him, but I think Chelsea win 2-1. I think Chelsea win 2-1. I think Nkunku scores, and I think Pedro Neto also scores. I'm going Nkunku, Neto, 2-1 Chelsea. I am very nervous for this game, but also it's trepidation with excitement. I'm buzzing for it. We've got to go out there and try and beat them. We've got to beat one of the big teams. If Chelsea want to go to the next level, which right now I'm happy with this level. I'm happy with being 4th in the Premier League, back in the Champions League next year. As much as I love winning 8-0, I don't want to be in the Conference League again. I don't want to be in the Europa League again. We've got 2 Champions League trophies, 2 Europa League trophies. If anything, I want another Champions League, not another Europa, obviously. So I'm happy with where we are, but I'm in that mood right now to dream again. I'm in that mood where a win here against Arsenal, keep ourselves in the top 4. City are kind of deteriorating. Can Liverpool keep it up? Forest won't stay there all year. It's time to dream, guys. There's no reason why we shouldn't. And a win against Arsenal before the international break will make this feel like a holiday. It's going to feel unreal if we win. It's going to be a tragedy if we lose. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know your Chelsea 11s, your score predictions. I'll speak to you later.